Nebraska's 2027 recruiting class is going to change everything. Following the addition of five-star quarterback Trey Taylor, the Huskers are now projected to land multiple more five-star prospects along with some big-time four-stars. So in today's video, I'm going to go over every single prospect that Nebraska's pursuing in the 27 class. I'm going to introduce you to all of these guys, who they are, what they bring to the table, everything you need to know about them, and so much more. So really quick, big-time recruiting update going over every single position group in the 27 class. Hit that like button if you're fired up, because I know I am. And really quick, if you support the channel, daily Husker football content, recruiting updates just like this, portal updates, off-season content, join this family, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it, talking about the 2027 class for Nebraska. Man, oh man, it is going to be elite. Now, if the Huskers can win 8, 9, 10 games like we're expecting this season, they're going to land a bunch of five-star prospects. They're already in a really, really good spot to land some. They already got Trey Taylor at that quarterback position, and they're in the mix to get a top 10, top 5 class, which would be absolutely revolutionary for this program. That would change Nebraska from being one of the better programs in the Big Ten to potentially competing for national titles every single year. So, of course, Nebraska landed Trey Taylor last week. That was a big addition. You got to get your quarterback. They got a future five-star number 11 player in his respective class, 6'3", about 200 pounds at this point in time. Game changer. But let's go to the running back position, because there are some big-time prospect in Nebraska they are pursuing. Now, I want to get things started with Noah Roberts, a guy who's visited Nebraska 2 times up to this point, out of Basha, 6'1", 190 pounds, borderline five-star prospect, a guy who is super speedy, can juke you in a phone booth, right? Has a little bit of a spin move to him, can break tackles, can catch passes. Now, Nebraska has really impressed him early in this process, along with schools like Georgia, Oregon, Alabama, a couple others in there. So he's one of those guys that, again, Nebraska's going to be competing with all the big dogs to land him. When we start talking five stars, we start talking about all of the big schools. But Noah Roberts, Nebraska, already in a really good spot. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to winning, man. It really is. For a lot of these prospects, it's going to come down to winning. Nebraska can change that this year if they really put up a good season. Keeping it with the running backs, Myson Johnson-Cook is somebody who Nebraska's been rumored to really be pursuing recently. A guy coming out of DeSoto, Texas. Trey Taylor's been peer recruiting him, 6'2", 220 pounds, five-star prospect, guy who's not only speedy but huge. This dude does not look like a 16-year-old. He's 220 pounds. He can truck you over. He can stiff arm you. I mean, this guy just can do just about everything. So really like this prospect. Another five-star running back, Nebraska, expected to get a visit from very quickly here. And then one last running back who I want to put on your radar. This is Kylan Haney, coming out of Omaha, Nebraska. One of my guys. He's been blowing up recently. Has a Nebraska offer already. Has Wisconsin in here. Got Kansas State, Iowa State, a couple others. So really like Kylan Haney's game. 200 pounds. Again, another big time. I mean, we're talking about a bulldozer running back. So another guy who I expect to be a potential four-star prospect pretty quickly here. Love Kylan Haney's game. That's a name you're going to want to know coming out of Omaha Central. So those are the 3 running backs who I expect Nebraska to really pursue in this class. Let's talk wide receivers. There's 2 guys who I really want to put on your radar. Antavius Ellis is somebody who Taylor's been already peer recruiting to come and join him. Again, 6 foot tall, 175, top 200 player in his class. A very physical receiver, good catch radius. Not the fastest in the world, but just a guy, again, super physical, can play all over that wide receiver position. Nebraska have been noted to be interested here. And again, we're going to go after a lot of Texas receivers in this class. There's going to be a lot of Texas receivers who you're going to want to know the name of. Another receiver who I want to introduce you to, this is Raekwon Williams, also coming out of, he's actually not out of Texas, he's out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Nebraska, one of the favorites right now in his recruiting process. 6 foot tall, 170. Man, I mean, he is a guy, super speedy, great catch radius, once again, good route running, really like his game. And those Louisiana receivers, those guys are tough. Those are tough. So really like his game at Nebraska in the mix there. So there's some wide receivers. I expect the receiver class to be great, because good receivers want to play with good quarterbacks. This is somebody who I have my eyes out for. Let's talk tight ends. 2 tight ends in particular Nebraska's been linked to. 5-star tight end Ahmad Hudson that has visited 1 time. 5-star tight end. Again, he's also a 3-star power forward on the basketball court. Nebraska's recruiting him to play 2 sports. Guy who's super physical, can lay the boom on you right in the blocking department, but also a vertical threat. Man, Nebraska needs a game-changing tight end who could be Trey Taylor's best friend. This is your guy in Nebraska right now. 2nd place in his recruiting process, along with LSU, who is the favorite. Another tight end here, Cooper Twillinger, who is a top 150 player in America coming out of South Dakota. Nebraska's done really good in South Dakota over the past couple recruiting classes. But again, 6'5", 210 pounds, vertical threat. I mean, he can catch pretty much any ball you put his way. Love his game. Would watch out for Cooper Twillinger. He visited Nebraska for the spring game, so right now they are the favorite in that recruiting process. Let's go to the offensive line, because out of all of the units, this is probably the best of the bunch that Nebraska is doing a really good job at the 2027 class. Kennedy Brown visited Nebraska, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Right now, the number one offensive tackle in the class, fifth best player in America, 6'5", about 300 pounds, coming out of Texas. I mean, every off you can imagine. Bama, Texas right now the favorites, but Nebraska left a really good impression when he visited. A couple other five-star prospects. You got Cooper Hackett here that Nebraska is really high on his board. Number 9 player, offensive tackle. He visited Nebraska for the spring game. Again, 6'7", 250 pounds, so watch out for Cooper Hackett. Keeping it with the offensive line, Jake Hildebrand, Nebraska right now is the favorite to land him. Number 55 player in his respective class. Number 6 offensive tackle coming out of Basha, so he's kind of like, could be a package deal with Noah Roberts. Both those guys are teammates. 2 more guys on the O-line. Kelsey Adams visited for the spring game, borderline 5-star. I mean, look at this guy. Does that guy look like a 16-year-old to you? That dude looks like a grown man. That's all I'm going to say. That dude is a grown man. I want that guy on our football team right now, I'll tell you that much. But he visited Nebraska for the spring game. And then actually 2 more. Cooper Wagner, who is very close to Trey Taylor. That might be a package deal. 4-star offensive tackle. And then, last but not least, Albert Simeon, who visited 2 weeks ago. That's the number 1 interior guard in his class, 5-star player. So I'll still have to say this. Running back class is looking good. Wide receiver class is going to be good. Tight end class is going to be good. My gosh. Nebraska, every single guy I just mentioned has visited Nebraska on a visit already. All those offensive linemen have already visited Nebraska. Wagner's visited Nebraska. Adams visited Nebraska. All those guys have already visited. Nebraska's arguably the top 3 in all their recruiting processes. They're trying to lock down some offensive linemen. Let's see if they can do just that. But the O-line class is going to be elite. Let's talk defensive line. Zane Rowe visited for the spring game. He said that Nebraska is now in his top 5 schools. Again, another guy coming out of Texas. Texas is in the mix there. A&M's in the mix there. A couple other big-time schools, Bama. But Zane Rowe, 6'4", 240 pounds, your prototypical Texas 3 technique, right? He's a guy who, again, very physical. Second he gets his hands on you, he's going to bring you down. Good build on him, a lot of good muscle early on in his career. So, like Zane Rowe's game a lot, Nebraska made a strong impression there. Then you got Caden McCarthy, who I kind of made a bold prediction. We talked about Caden McCarthy once before on the channel. He visited Nebraska right before the spring game, and this was when he was unranked. I told you guys on the channel I expected Caden McCarthy to be a 4-star prospect. One day after I posted that video, he went from unranked to being the 63rd best player in America. 6'2", 200 pounds, super twitchy, super fast on line scrimmage. Nebraska, arguably the favorite right now in his recruiting process, but Baylor in there as well, a couple other big-time schools. So Caden McCarthy really liked his Nebraska visit. So Edge class is looking good too. Defensive line class is looking good too. George Tioa out of California. This dude, another guy, looks like a grown man. You can't convince me this dude's 16 years old. But 6'2", 300 pounds. I mean, big Polynesian nose tackle who could just eat up those double teams, right? Nebraska's done very well in California, really well in Hawaii. Let's see if they can get a guy like him. This would be a big-time addition. But Nebraska, they've been recruiting him over the past couple weeks, over the past couple months. Let's go to the linebackers here. Tioa Satelli is a guy coming out of Hawaii, number 1 player in that state, in Nebraska, arguably in the mix there for, along with schools like Cal and in-state Hawaii. Really like his game. His dad was in the NFL, so a guy who can do just about everything on the football field, but super athletic, right? Super physical, leader of men type of guy. Like his game. Nebraska in the mix there. And then talking about the DBs, to end things off, man, these are the top DBs Nebraska going after. Bryson Brown coming out of Oklahoma. They've done a good job in Oklahoma. Really trying to lock down that state. 6 foot tall, 175, borderline 4-star guy. Nebraska right now, arguably the favorite along Oklahoma. This is just a very twitchy athlete, very fast, kind of a lockdown boundary guy. Samaj Stanford, also out of Oklahoma. Guy who's a top 150 player in his class, about 6 foot tall, 180. Really like his game. Twitchy athlete, right? Kind of like a Torrey Pittman. Probably not as good as Torrey Pittman, but really like his game. Just, super athletic. Free safety type of guy. Can lay the boom on you also. Can play corner, can play nickel. Pretty much can play all over the field. And then last guy is Mr. Torrey Pittman, the number 1 player in the state of Nebraska, coming out of Omaha Central. 6 foot tall, 185. 5-star prospect. What more needs to be said about Torrey Pittman? One of the fastest players to come out of the state of Nebraska, maybe ever. I mean, he already runs a legit 4.3 40-yard dash at 16 years old, which is, I mean, just unbelievable. This dude's a freak. Nebraska needs to keep this guy home. They need to keep this guy home. So, listen, we talked about a lot of players in a short amount of time, but I saw that to say this. Those are the top prospects Nebraska's going after in this class. Nebraska, pretty much all those guys have already visited Lincoln. Pretty much all the guys just mentioned, Nebraska's already in their top 5, top 4, top 3, if not the favorite in their recruiting processes. If Nebraska can win 8, 9, 10 games, holy crap. We're going to be talking about a top 10 class. We're going to be talking about multiple 5-stars. And I'm going to tell you this, the NIL's looking good too. The coaching staff's looking good. The 26 class is exciting, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit and looking at the 27 class because it's going to be generational, man. And I'm excited to see what happens. So, all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about Nebraska's 2027 class. Absolutely want to hear what you have to say. Hey, if you made this far in the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button and subscribe. As always, folks, come grab, go on my roll, and I'll see you in the next one.